comfortable. I think I got it. Let me know if the fan. I wonder why I can't rotate so you get a live view. All right, hold on, you guys. Let me do a couple last minute things here. All right. So y'all can see me. You can see the fan in the background. We'll turn it. All right. What's up, everybody? It's been a while. Actually, it hasn't been a while. I just did a live with a friend. No, it's not a live, but I did a video while I was here in Koh Samui. But I will be departing Thailand soon, very soon, and heading to a place I've never been to. And as per usual, I get lots of different questions about places that I have visited, and I thought it would be good just to go ahead and recap because at this point I have been in Thailand 3 times: 2019, 2022, and 2023. And I might as well share a little bit about the 5 different provinces or cities, or I don't know what they really call them over here, that I have had a chance to explore, and share some of those travel questions that I get all the time about my journey, and just what I would suggest about different places and things like that. So that's what this video will be about. But I'm gonna start off with, first, can y'all tell I have some color in my hair? I don't know if y'all can tell or not. And let me know if you can hear me okay. Hold on. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Hold on. Oh, actually, it sounds like you can hear the fan. Hold on. Un momento. Let's turn that one off. I don't know. I want to make sure that you can't. That you can't. I think that's better. I think that's better. Okay. All right. Let me know, y'all, if it's better, because there's nothing like doing a whole 45-minute recording and then coming on and realizing that you had a lot of sound obstruction. So anyway, y'all can't really tell in the video because I think the video looks dark, but I put some of that hair color mask, temporary color in my hair. Because I really want my blonde ends back. When I do my protective style, I usually do like a blonde end, and it's like a highlight thing, and I really like it. But I'm like a little leery about dyeing my locks since they're a little bit newer, and I've never ever dyed my hair. So let me know what you guys think, if I should do it or not. I don't know if y'all can tell. But anyway, and then the second thing I want to just quickly mention is congratulations to Coco Gauff. I think it's Gauff, I think. The 19-year-old new women's U.S. Open champion. She won the U.S. Open, I would assume yesterday, so the 9th, and won in 4 matches. 3 games, I'm sorry. So she lost the first one and then won the last 2. And she is now officially a US Open winner. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but apparently her parents took her to watch the US Open, I think when Serena and Venus were playing, and she was like 5, she probably was like 7, but she was a little girl, and they took her to see this match, and these were her idols, and now she is actually playing. Y'all, so my one of my messages is with your kids, and this is something I did with my son when he was younger, is expose them to good things, of course, because we might be like, well, we're going to expose them to things that allow them to see what they can be, what they can do. And it gives them, just like any adult, like when you realize, oh my God, I could do that, I could actually be out here living this life. So that's kind of what I am. I think I am that example of what you could be doing. When you get that exposure early on and consistently, and you see different things and experience different things, your path becomes infinity. Really does. All right, hold on. The fan ain't really coming over here, and it's hot. So hold on. Because what I'm not going to do is be sweating. And the fans work better than the AC. So, let me make sure the fans work better than the AC. So, okay, y'all. I just got a message said something went wrong. There was an error, but as long as y'all on and we on, we could get started. So what am I talking about today? Today, I am going to share with you my Thailand experience from the past 3 years. I'm going to talk about 5 cities that I visited: Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Chiang Mai, and Koh Samui. All right, y'all. So if you have any questions, or you have any questions as I'm going through, I'm trying to end this in 45 minutes, so it's not going to take a whole lot of your you all's time, but give you some good information, and try to do it. It's not going to be rapid, but it's going to be more rapid than I normally do, because y'all know I can, once I get into it, I can share some things. And so anyway, I want to take a little time to share with you some of my experience, specifically in Thailand. This is something I'm going to try to do, because this might be a little bit easier than me trying to create videos of, the experience I've had, because I'm failing. If there ever was a fail, I am definitely failing. I swear, every time I start editing a video, I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like, oh my God. All right, so talk about a couple things. So the first thing I want to share just in general about Thailand is their visa process. I don't think I've ever done a video on Thailand's visa process, and I actually have a video that I can actually share with you guys, and I might just do it as a voiceover, because I did do a visa extension when I was in Chiang Mai. I've done visa extensions before when I was in Phuket, but I don't know that I actually recorded them. So let me scooch in here just a little bit. So I want to share with you guys the visa process, because it's one of the things that I think we do maybe overlook a little bit, because there are so many places that we can go as U.S. passport holders that don't require us to apply for a visa, and Thailand is one of them. So if you are planning to come and visit Southeast Asia, and it may just not be just Thailand, it may be some of the other neighboring Asian countries, and you don't plan on staying here more than 30 days, you don't need to apply for a visa. So you'll get 30 days. Now, what can happen, which is what happened to me the second time I came, is you come here and you realize how much you love it, and you don't have a time schedule, you don't have anything that you have to return to or whatever, i.e., my case, as a nomad, and you decide you want to stay longer. And so you can apply, excuse me, you can apply for an extension. An extension is going to cost you 1900 baht, which is the equivalent of, I think, 59 USD. So get your XE XE app so that you can do your conversions or whatever. But the process is super easy to do. Different provinces slash cities do it a little bit different. So I'll actually, when I create the video, I'll share the differences between when I did it in Phuket. And keeping in mind that when I did it in Phuket, it was during COVID. So I actually got to stay for 4 months. They're no longer doing that. I can't wait for them to reinstate some of that. And then compared to how I just did it when I was in Chiang Mai, and why I did it in Chiang Mai rather than doing it in Koh Samui. So there's a lot of little things to know about being in a place legally. And I think a lot of times, I'm going to say this, as U.S. citizens, because we actually have access to a lot of places, we can go a lot of places, we kind of just move around. And a lot of times we're on vacation, we don't really worry about, I think like our 90% of our vacations are in places where, we don't worry about needing a visa, right? Or we're on a tour, and so they handle those things for us behind the scenes, and we never know it, right? Like, so if you go to Egypt, you actually need a visa, but you probably, if you did a tour, you probably didn't actually apply for that visa yourself, right? And so these are just little things to know, right? So I want to share that process with you. So, keep me honest, y'all. I'm gonna do this video. I'm gonna do the video on the visa process. I did one for Vietnam. So I want to actually get better at doing that, so you guys kind of have a walkthrough of what that looks like, and whether or not it's something you can do when you land, or if it's something to do before you get there. So there's the option of the 30-day, and you just go, and your passport, you go through immigration and they stamp you. When you most places still do that Ministry of Health questionnaire to see where you've been, because there may be places that are like targeted still on their list. But right now, to get into Thailand, there is no COVID restriction, nor is there, like I said, a visa requirement for U.S. passport holders. If you are a different passport citizen of a different country outside of the United States, there are a couple sites that I will recommend that you check out. One is canitravel.net. And you can type in, click where you're going to be, where you're coming from, and the origination of your passport, and it'll tell you what the requirements are for both COVID and visa. Or you can use passportindex.org. And I actually have videos on my YouTube for both of those. I actually have a module in my travel course for those. So if you guys want to support me, go out there and pull up my travel course, and you'll get that information. The other thing you could do is, wherever you are, if you're traveling around like me, or if you're in the States and you want to stay longer, you can apply in advance for 2 months, which is 60 days. So you'll get that stamp, you'll get that information, that approval before you even get to Thailand. And then you can also renew for another 30 days with the extension, the 1900 baht extension. And that will give you 94 days in the country. And then you can do a border hop, go to another country, and then come back in. So there's multiple ways to do it. If you guys have questions, please let me know. Hey Steve, what's up? So we'll get into that a little bit more, but I just wanted to at least share that. So, okay, you guys, I told you before, I've been to Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Chiang Mai, and currently I'm sitting in Koh Samui, which is an island. And when I first came to Thailand in 2019, I went to Bangkok and Phuket. and I was coming from Bali. I did a retreat in Bali, and I was the yoga guide, which was super awesome. And because I can't do a one-stop shop, I passed through Thailand for the first time on my way back to the States and was hooked. Um, I was kind of mesmerized by the country and what it felt like and the energy. And I'd only been to two places and knew I was going to come back. So 2022, y'all know 2020 I left the US and started my nomad voyage, so to speak. And before I returned to the States, I left Africa. I'd been in Africa for a year and determined not to come back to the States because I just didn't want to come back. I I decided to pass through Thailand and I ended up staying 4 months. And I visit three different places. Lips is dry, y'all. Three different cities when I was here last year for 4 months, y'all, and loved it. And so we're going to get into some of these click questions that I get. It's kind of like the best and the worst things that I like or dislike about Thailand in or particular cities, and would I make this a base home? So after my time here last year, I was determined to get back to Thailand. I just knew I was coming back. I was like, all right, once I get through with this adulting situation in the US, I'm out. And I kind of did a detour because I knew I wanted to come around and do some other things and see some things in the Americas before I leave. Because once I come over to this side of the world, the back and forth is, first of all, very expensive. And it does a lot. The time changing and stuff with your body is actually just not really, it's not really good, to do it over and over. So people who go from, and I'm talking about 6+ hours, 12+hour time zone shifts, 16-hour time zone shifts frequently. Wow, that wreaks havoc after a while. Your body does kind of get used to it, but it's also always out of whack, right? Anyway, so because I'm a budget traveler, I also want to make sense of traveling from a financial standpoint. So I came down through the Americas, and then I came over to the east side. So I decided to check out some other Asian countries first. So Vietnam is where I started. And I spent actually 3 months in Vietnam this year. After going through Belize, Panama, Ecuador, Colombia, back to Costa Rica, and then I came over to Vietnam in February of this year. Couldn't believe how much I loved it because I wanted to do a comparison before I decide to, make Thailand like this base home. Let me see, because one of my friends, somebody I met in Thailand, was raving about Vietnam. And this is what I'm going to say, like, sometimes places that you would never have on your list, consider going and at least visiting them. If it's in your budget, if you're in proximity, take a leap because you might be surprised. And I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. I stayed for 3 months, and if they would have had, no, I stayed for 4 months. I was there for 4 months. If they would have had their 3-month visa in place, I would have stayed 6. I probably wouldn't be in Thailand now. Maybe not. Okay, that's a whole other thing. But it was super cheap. My apartment was $320 a month with everything except electricity included. And that was an extra like $30 a month or whatever. So that was everything. Cable, pseudo cable and Netflix and all that, and whatever. So I was very comfortable in Vietnam. And while I was there, I got an opportunity to experience other Asian countries. So I went to South Korea, I went to Japan, I went to Singapore, and I went to Malaysia while I was in Vietnam, because forced, and border run to Laos, but I didn't explore Laos. Because of forced border runs every month, I got an opportunity to see other countries. That became more expensive than I really wanted it to be. So I decided to leave, and it was like mentally annoying because I was being forced to go at a certain time every month, and y'all saw my videos. Don't force me to do it. I want to do it when I want to do it when I want to do it. Okay, so basically, I I got to experience some other places, but Thailand still sits over here in my heart, right? And so I ended up booking a couple timeshares, yeah, house sits, which allowed me to stay accommodation free in a place while I pet sit or maintain and watch someone's house. You guys want to know about that? Let me know. Um, and so I ended up doing that, and I came over to Thailand because it's cheaper if you do that. So a couple of the questions um, that I get is like, what do I like best about a country? What do I like best about, different places? And I literally, I don't think I ever talk about a country as a whole except a place like Singapore because there are no cities. Singapore is just Singapore. So when I make those kind of little jokes, like you have to have been to a place to know that there are no cities, Singapore is literally Singapore. So I don't usually talk about countries holistically. Like I talk about different cities, and I learned that through my air travel, quick travel, going to different cities, like sometimes the same country each year passing through. Like I've been to Portugal 3 or 4 times, but every time I go to Portugal, I go to a different city. And in Spain is the same way. And so it's like, if I were to only go to Spain, judge Spain by Madrid, I would never go to Spain again. Madrid is like probably one of my least favorite places. Um, Out of all the places I've been in the world, Madrid is probably one of my least favorite. And I'm going to give it another try because maybe the 3 times that I've been there, maybe it will change. I don't know. Right? But I love Spain. Right? So anyway, I decided if I want to make Thailand my base home, what is it that I really like about Thailand? So if I were to, like somebody asks me, I'm going to go down my list because I had to write this down. Which one of these cities has the best like entertainment or like nightlife or things that access to things where you can go and see movies and go to jazz clubs and just lounges or just do some adulting things where it's not like red light district adulting. And so I'm going to tell you, Thailand has all of that. Thailand, you could literally be 1 minute in a downtown bustling city, next minute in the mountains, all right, like 50 minutes in the mountains, 50 more minutes on a beach somewhere, 50 minutes at a waterfall, 20 minutes hugging elephants, 2 minutes around the corner looking at a temple. Thailand literally has it all. And then some of the most massive malls with everything in it. Of course, they're going to be like different brand names from what you might be used to seeing, but they literally have everything. And they actually have things that I like to stock up on to take back to me. I have to actually return to the States, so I usually don't tell folks when I come back, but I have to actually return to the States soon this year. And I'm going to make sure that I have the things that I need from here. People are always like, what do you miss from the U.S. when you leave and go abroad? And I'm just like, nothing really, except my masticating juicer and maybe Amazon, which actually is a good thing because I'm saving some money. I'm not spending all this money ordering on Amazon stuff I'm not even using, right? But there are things from Asian countries, specifically Thailand and Korea. Japan too, but I think I got most of some things, collagen things from Korea. But anyway, I know now what I want, and I'm gonna get my packets and stuff and make sure I have it. So when I actually go to some European countries and things like that, I have some things already in hand, right? So out of the five cities that I named, which one has, I think, the most well-rounded entertainment? I'm gonna say Bangkok. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Bangkok. Like, I won't go to Bangkok. Like, I have no intentions on living in Bangkok long term. Now, I will do a house sit in Bangkok. I will go and visit, like do a border run to Bangkok or something like that, or pop up to Bangkok to, meet people, because a lot of times people, when you're traveling, you stop in Bangkok, like, because it's a major hub. Like, Bangkok is a major hub, and so that would be like one of those situations where it's like somebody's like, I'm coming in town, but I'm not gonna be in, wherever you're living, I'll leave, but I'll be in Bangkok. And I'll be like, oh, let me jump on a flight. $30, $40, jump on a flight and go and visit somebody. I've told you before, from Portugal to the UK for a day. And that's the thing, when you come over here, you start to realize that a bus ride, in the States, or if you're in Texas and taking a 6-hour drive somewhere, you literally can fly cheaper in European countries and Asian countries to a whole nother country for less than, right? You're not taking a whole lot of stuff. You might take a bag if you stay overnight, or you might take nothing except your purse and your wallet and jump on a flight and just go somewhere for a day. I've done it when I was in Iceland, went to Copenhagen for a day, So those are some of those benefits, but I would say Bangkok is probably the best place for entertainment. You're literally going to get everything, all right? From that perspective, right? Access, it's probably a cleaner neighborhood. If I had to compare it to other Asian countries, it's cleaner than Vietnam. Like some of the major cities, so like one of the major cities in Vietnam is Ho Chi Minh, Saigon. Definitely cleaner than Saigon. If I had to name like Korea or Japan, I would say Korea and Japan are cleaner than Bangkok. But Bangkok is right up there. It's a really nice place to go to if that's the type of environment you want, right? Place with this question comes up: how much does it cost? How much do these places cost? So I'm gonna kind of break it down a little bit. Best and cheapest accommodations, because that's one of our biggest expenses. That's one of the first things I look at is, where can I go and stay for under $500 a month, get more modern, contemporary, modern type housing, clean feel, where it feels open, the energy is good. I got mountains right outside. You can't see the mountains, but where can I go and get all that and be in the $500 price range? And out of the 5 cities, because each one you can find cheap accommodations. But when I say inexpensive accommodations, I also mean with access to things. I don't mean that you're like 2 hours away. And this is something I used to contend a lot with when I was in places like Africa. And, everybody was like, Ollie, where's some $200 a month places? I was like, yeah, 4 hours away. Not really, but an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's not an easy hour and a half, 2 hours. Always having to have transportation and stuff like that. And it's not always that case, because I did find some places inland. But for the most part, when I'm saying that's the price I want to pay, or it's an inexpensive accommodation, I'm also saying I need it to be walkable. I need to be able to move around as a solo woman. I need to have access to things that I want without necessarily always being in public transportation. I did rent a motorbike for a month here, so that was great. But just having access to different things is included in that cheap accommodation. So I just want y'all to know that, because a lot of times people will tell you, oh yeah, you could go and live in these places for pennies, but they don't tell you that you're so far away, you're so far removed from the world that, it's not even enjoyable unless you need and want specifically that seclusion. You don't want to be around other people, and that's fine. But I knew, I know that's not what I want. I want at least some interaction. My ears. So the place I'm gonna name is not my favorite city, but it does have the basics of what is needed. I enjoyed my time there. It has very upscale accommodations at very low prices. Like, you can go online right now and just do Airbnb or go to booking.com and just scan the country and like let it show you the pricing. So imagine if that's the pricing that you see on the applications, and then you actually work directly with someone who's a renter. You're going to do it long term. You can get cheaper pricing, right? So the city that I'm going to suggest or say that I like for the has the cheapest accommodations and easy to the airport, great transportation, all of that. Um, Easy access to walk around, cheap Uber, because that's another thing. One of these cities has Uber, but it's expensive as all get out. So the cheapest accommodation place I'm gonna name, get back on track, Pattaya. Now, I know when people hear Pattaya or Chonburi or Jomtien, so I would actually say I like Jomtien. I like staying in the Jomtien area. Um, when you say it, people I think like Amsterdam or red light district, because that's all you hear. Is you hear about, you know, this, everything is, Hooker Street. I don't know how best to say it, so I'm just gonna be an adult and say it. It's not. Literally, I was there and I didn't see none of it. I didn't see any of it. I didn't even go to the wild and out street, like, because I'm not interested. Like, that's not my thing. And so I want people to understand when people say, "Oh, you should go to Pattaya. You should go." They're like, "Oh, I don't want to be around that." I've been to so many cities. They even have it in Japan. They have it around the corner from some of the nicest areas in Japan and in Korea, but specifically Japan and Ginza, which is one of the most upscale, expensive areas. And you go like walk 20 minutes, like me, exploring, and bam, you're right into it. Cops there, everything, monitoring, manage, make sure don't go all haywire. So, anyway, I'll be getting off track. Y'all know. Do you happen to know what areas of Thailand that are safest during monsoon season? Thailand could be my potential home base, but monsoons and hurricanes give me pause. So the thing is, this is. Sorry about that, you guys. I think I just lost my connection, but I'm back. Just want to make sure that it looks like it's not as clear. Okay. All right. So different parts of Thailand, monsoon season slash rainy season hit sometimes at different parts. And then there's also this contention with burning season here, which if you're in the more local other areas, even here on the island, I mean, people, I guess they burn year round, and it's thick. It's something. It like you're like, oh, burning leaves, that's not a big deal. Ooh, wait. Okay, so trying to think about this in general. And there's an app too that you can use, but I pretty much just go on Weather Center, like Weather Channel apps, and just check to see what the rain patterns and stuff are. But in general, it's like Florida. So when Florida goes through its hurricane season and it rains like every day for 15-20 minutes, that's kind of like what it's like here. It's always hot, it's always humid. I was in Chiang Mai and everybody was like, oh, it's so much better, it's so much cooler. It was hot as HE double hockey sticks in Chiang Mai. It was sweltering in Chiang Mai. So I was like, what they be talking about? Like, I know it gets cooler because of the mountains, but I think you got to go into the mountains. Like, anyway, we went in the mountains. So right now, it is considered rainy season. So this is the beginning. September, October is when it starts to hit harder. And so the southwest region of Thailand gets the most, which would be Phuket. but it's not all of Phuket. And you can't really predict exactly where. I have so many friends actually that live in Phuket, and some of them experience a little bit of the street flooding because of how the streets are designed, or whatever. And then I have some friends who live in Phuket, but they live on the cliffs. So they up here, and they just, they can see it. But you will see the signs that say monsoon, and this is like they tell you the markers, how far away you are, and whether or not you're far enough to not be affected if you're on ground level. So one of my tips, this might be longer than 45 minutes, one of my tips about moving into places that have weather systems like that where flooding can happen is whenever you're renting, always try to rent highest level, or on a high level. I mean, if you gotta walk stairs, third, fourth, fifth floor, anywhere where you potentially can be affected by flooding. Caveat of that is if you're all the way upstairs, you can't get out. But if it's flooding, you don't want to get out. You kind of want to be as safe as possible. And when I stayed in Phuket, I stayed on the 7th floor, and I had no issues. And I was gone before I was there in the spring. And here I'm on the 3rd floor. But where I'm at in Koh Samui, you guys pull this up on a map. When you look at Koh Samui, I'm actually in the Gulf of Thailand. Hold on, I think I might be lying. Because there's 2 gulfs. There's 2 gulfs. I'm directionally impaired, so I'm gonna pull it up on my map. Okay, hold on. So I am in the saying the Gulf. Yes, I'm inside the Gulf of Thailand. I don't know if y'all can see that. So I'm here in this little island here. Bangkok is up here. Pattaya is over here, right? But when you pull out, this is all Thailand. That's Malaysia. I'm sorry. Hold on. This is Thailand over here too. So this is Phuket. So all those little dots are all the places I've been. So this is an area that gets hit a little bit more when it's monsoon season. So in different areas, specifically if you're in the like Patong area, they get hit pretty bad. I don't know a lot of people that always go to Patong. I don't. I stayed up in the northern part of Phuket on this side, but in the more northern area, it does get some flooding in certain streets and certain areas. It's kind of like being in Dallas, right? Where you're living somewhere and some places get super flooded, like in Dallas. You can't go under certain underpasses or whatever because it gets flooded. That's how it is here, right? So no, I've never experienced a monsoon, and you kind of just have to. I mean, nobody can predict. We don't know. We don't know if there's ever going to be another, major hit. But the advice I give is to try to always stay in places where you are elevated if you're going to be in an apartment building, or be far enough inland where when you see the signs. And I know last year I used to like when I was here in Thailand, I would show the signs and be like, this is what they're talking about. How far away, like how many seconds or minutes you are from like that marker. This is, you're far enough in or you're not far enough in, or just be aware when monsoon hits, like it can come in this far. And sometimes it's like overwhelming, like, oh my god, that's crazy, right? The second thing to do is most people outside of the US travel during kind of bad season. So I think we're kind of like the only people that just stay and we endure. 90% of us stay wherever we are, whether the season's bad or not. Like Florida, they know when it's going to be hurricane season and people don't leave, right? Whereas other countries and cultures of people, a lot of times people, and obviously people who have the financial ability to do this, uh, migrate to other places during those adverse times, right? So Canadians go down to Mexico. Like if you go to Mexico, it's inundated with Canadians. You might not know this, or even Costa Rica, like Central America, is inundated with Canadians. Some Americans as well, but 6 months out of the year they spend it in Mexico. Like when I was in Acapulco, I met so many people that are Canadian. They're like, yeah, we spend 6 months here and 6 months back in Canada. Same thing goes for here. For me, if I make Thailand my base, depending on which city I end up in, I would actually bounce between here and likely Vietnam. Vietnam has a different schedule for monsoons and for um, adverse weather. And it literally depends on where you're at in Vietnam as well. And I can do a whole video on that as well. So it's basically doing a little research to see, because when I came here, the reason I ended up in Koh Samui, well, I did a 1 month house sit, so I got free accommodations for a month. But the reason I decided to go ahead and come here was because of the location, because we're in the Gulf. So even when it hits, we are kind of protected by land more, the land mass of Malaysia and southwest Thailand. And for it to have to come all the way around into the Gulf, like it has to be super, super strong. So that's another reason why one of the cities I really like is on this side. Right. Okay. So thank you for asking that. We'll get to my favorite city in a moment. Un momento. All right. So for nature, what's the best place for like nature? As I was saying, like mountains and waterfalls and, access to be able to move around without doing a tour. So for me, when I talk about places that I would go that are great for nature exploration or just hiking and just being able to get out and enjoy what that area has to offer, I look for places that I can go by myself, that I could either walk to, that I could Uber to, that if I get a motorbike or something like that, I can get to easily without having to. I gotta call a local. We gotta put trackers on our bodies. I don't want to do that all the time because sometimes I just want to get up and just walk like so. I can't see it because of the bro. Oh, there we go. Hold on. You kind of see it like it faded in and out, but you like the mountains behind me. I can't walk over there. I wish I could, but I could take I could probably walk. I just don't really know the way. But on this island, the island isn't big, but it's big, right? And in the center of the island is where all the waterfalls and stuff. Right now, everything's pretty dry because it's been pretty dry. It hasn't rained super hard yet. So once it consistently is raining, which I think happens more at the end of September or October, which I will be gone, it fills up these waterfalls. And then when rainy season is over, that's when everybody comes back in December. So December, January, February, March, April, May, June, and it gets really hot. But those months are amazing. December to February is a beautiful time in Thailand. Pretty much anywhere in Thailand. March, April, May. You don't want to be in Chiang Mai because it's burn season. So it's just smoked out. Can't breathe. I ain't gonna lie. I was just like, that's BS, y'all. It's not that bad. One person was burning, and I swear every day I was like, I can't. I'm lying. But it was like, I was just like, wow. If it's like this with one person burning, imagine if everyone is burning. All right, so the nature place that I would say that I like the most, Great Coast. The cost is kind of medium. Lots of transportation, but just it's easy to just walk around and have access to all of that like at your fingertips. honestly, Phuket. And for me, nature includes the ocean. So I need water. Water's energy source for me. And so when I say nature, there has to be an element of water. And for me, it's more than a lake. Lakes are nice, but there's something about the ocean, even if I never get in it, there's something about the ocean that is very settling for me. And so that's just for me. Like, that's what's important for me. It may not be important for you. And I'm realizing more and more I don't need a beach per se, because I'm starting to hate sand. Like, so if I just want to go and walk and see the ocean, and I do it first thing in the morning, or I've got my bags and I'm dressed or whatever. I'm not necessarily nicely dressed, but I'm not dressed for the beach. I still now have sand on me for the entire day. Even if you go and rinse off, it's like you just got like accumulations of sand, because it's the soft, feathery sand, and it's beautiful and all of that. But I'm just like, at this point, like, okay, I can do rocks in an ocean. As long as it's pretty, but you do want sometimes to be able to get in the ocean. So it's a balance. I digress, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna run through some of these. Okay, place to go with the most temples. If you are a cultural person, you want to see a temple literally every corner. I mean, like every single corner. Like, 7-Elevens here, or what do we have in the States? Um, Cash shops, Western Unions, and you know how you like there's certain, like, on the East Coast there's bodegas and stuff. So how you got like certain things that that you're gonna see every other corner in the hood. It's a church every corner. If you go to Chiang Mai, I swear you will literally every 100 steps, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really, there is an amazing, beautiful temple. They're not necessarily always huge, but there's these beautiful temples built. They've got the dragons, because that means something, and each one has a different meaning for that. And I think I've shared some of those in my videos and my stories and stuff. Go to Chiang Mai. If you are a 420 friendly person, Thailand is now 420 friendly. I don't know if they're changing that, so please do your own homework to find out. But they made it officially legal back in 2022. So there is a dispensary on every corner in certain provinces. I was so surprised to be in Chiang Mai and literally, boom, I could literally turn. And I meant to take a photo and like kind of video thing of all of it, but it was just literally every time I'd be walking, I'm like, crap, I gotta pull my phone out, pull my phone out, pull my phone out. There's another dispensary. You could smoke. Okay, let me clarify this. There was a shop pretty much every other door in Chiang Mai for 420 people, and with like access to just about anything. One store that I saw, because I have a friend who's 420 friendly. I don't partake, but I have partaken in like more of the edible kind of things, or the infused. So infused things like beers, wines, candies, brownies. They have like matcha brown, whatever. So I've dabbled in a few. A lot of stuff sometimes I just don't like. It gives me a headache, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't work. But these places literally have everything. This place we were in, I swear they had like 100 variations. I have no idea. I was just amazed at the names. I was cracking up at all the different names that they have. And then right next to it, you couldn't smoke in the shop. And sometimes you can't really smoke on the street. They have designated little areas, and you can come in even if you don't buy anything at the shop. And I'm just sharing this because there's a lot of 420. I learned how many people are actually 420 friendly. And I didn't know it. Like I was like, oh wow, I didn't know you were a partaker, and you literally can go to these smoke shops or areas where even if you don't buy product, you can come in. They will just be open. Yeah, come on in. You can sit. They'll set you up and do whatever. And I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, oh wow, because it's legal, right? Another place you can walk around. That's a story for another place, but it's in South America. So if you are 420 friendly, Chiang Mai is the place to go. You can find other shops in other places. When I was in, even here in Koh Samui, there's a few, but it's not as prevalent, I would say, as it is in Chiang Mai. Like Chiang Mai, it's everywhere. Okay, so FYI. Um, Place with the most like living lifestyle home kind of access to things, stores, hygiene, clothes, malls, electronics. Out of the five, Bangkok is definitely going to be high on the list. Phuket, definitely. Pattaya, Chiang Mai, and then Koh Samui. And the reason I would say Koh Samui last is because number one, it's an island, so that dictates the cost of things, you know. Um, dictates the cost of just different necessities, things that you're gonna need, and so when you're thinking about it, a lot of people want places that they can go and kind of be a little bit away from the hustle and bustle and that kind of thing. Each one of these cities literally has a touristy area, multiple touristy areas, and then the areas that people go to get away from tourists, which is so funny because we all started off as tourists. It's always funny to hear. Okay, I'm getting to this. I'm getting down. This is all gonna break down and make sense later on when I tell you which area I like the best. Best beach, and water is number one, Phuket. I love Phuket. Phuket's beaches. Number one, because the city is the little area I showed you on the map. It goes from north all the way south, all the way around. So you get different variations of the ocean, but some of the most beautiful, clear water reminded me a lot of Kenya, actually. I would say Kenya kind of is like very close comparison to Thailand. Phuket is amazing. Number two would be Koh Samui. Bangkok, no, because there's really no beach. It's just there's water, but it's so don't do it, don't get in it. But you'll see people in it. They'll be fishing and stuff like that. Nah, you don't want that Bangkok water. You don't want that river water. You don't want none of that. So Phuket and Koh Samui. I already mentioned best city life. That's Bangkok. Best place for families. Now, I don't have any family members with me, but I get to experience, watch, see people move around. I have some friends here that I met last year, and they're a family with their daughter, and they live in Phuket. But I'm gonna say I think the best places for families, it could be literally any of those cities, depends on what you're looking for, because then you have to contend with who has the best international schools, or can you still homeschool, so you're looking for Wi-Fi and things like that, activities for the kids. I'm gonna say, I had this one place on here, but I think I'm gonna take that off because I just said activities for kids. So I'm gonna say Phuket. I literally just changed. Initially, I had Chiang Mai and Koh Samui, and it was because of the feeling that I get here and there's so many families. So there's definitely got to be things here for them. But I'm going to add Phuket to that list because I actually did get an opportunity to go to an international school and meet a guy who's a professor, he's an instructor at the school, and just talking about different activities and different things that they have in the Phuket area for kids that I got to experience when I was there last year. I'm going to add Phuket to the list. And so this is when you have to kind of start doing a little bit of homework to see what areas are best. So Bangtao and Surin are, to me, phenomenal for families. And I was in Surin. That's the area that I love, and one of the areas I would go back to. Most walkable, I would say, is Phuket. I kind of want to say Chiang Mai, but it's only in certain pockets, like the main streets that I think they're just building sidewalks or just reconstructing sidewalks. So I mean, it's just like you're in the street a lot of the time. It's not really walker friendly. Koh Samui ain't at all unless you're in a tourist area. Like there's no sidewalks. Even if you're on a motorbike, it's like hard to pull over on the side of the road. Like everything is, it's weird. Like everybody rides motorbikes, but they really don't have parking for motorbikes. You kind of just park anywhere, and then a lot of businesses will say you can't park here. It's really weird. I have just individual stories, and that'll be something I'll do like in my private one-on-one or group things when you sign up for memberships. I have my Patreon, but I don't have a whole nother talk about the Patreon situation because that's a whole nother thing. But I want to be able to share a little bit more of that because everything is not like just cut and dry. You know how like a lot of times people are like, oh, I picked this, I picked this, and it's kind of an unfair thing because a lot of these cities and what they offer overlap. So it really just depends on what's most important to you. For me, walkability is very important, and I will create walkability. Like where I'm living is off the beaten path a little bit, but I'm like right in the middle. I'm 6 to 10 minutes, basically 6 minutes from the beach, 6 minutes from this area that I can walk around and like get any kind of food I want. Like I'm 20 minutes from like the really touristy area where the mall is, and I can do some great grocery shopping and stuff like that. Like, and I don't need a motorbike for any of this. And that part is really walkable. But where I am to get there is not. I'm like walking in the street. I'm dodging, drain ditches. They got holes, and that's just. I mean, that's the way it's built so that the water drains down, right? They got grates, but it's so. It really kind of depends. So I would say the most walkable is probably Phuket. Pattaya is very walkable as well. And if you're in Jom Tien area, which is just south, it's just like a little southern area that is just more family friendly, easy to get to. The beaches are clean. They're just, the sand isn't as nice and they're much shorter. Like the beach area isn't as wide in like the southern part. Southwestern part of Pattaya, which is the Jomtien area. Best city transportation, I'm gonna say Bangkok and Bangkok. Best Uber, rideshare, Chiang Mai and Pattaya, or Chiang Mai and Bangkok have great rideshare. Phuket has great rideshare, but it's expensive if you don't know which rideshare app to use. So it can be super expensive. It can be half price if you use the right app. They don't have Koh Samui. I'd say Koh Samui is the worst for rideshare. They say they have it here, but it's really hit or miss. But there's taxis everywhere, so I think they really fight against having a rideshare apps here because it displaces people who work in that industry. But you can literally find a taxi pretty much everywhere. You just kind of walk outside, and there is one. And if you're renting from a place, you can ask the owners if they can assist you. Best water activities: Phuket and Koh Samui. When I was in Pattaya, I didn't. If you're in the northern area where it's like the bigger touristy hotels, yeah, you'll see like they have outline. You can be at some of the restaurants that overlook the ocean, and they have water sports, but it's nowhere near in comparison to me what you'll see in Phuket and what you have here in Koh Samui. Koh Samui, you have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 islands that I know of that are literally in like really wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really close proximity by ferry, speedboat, longboat from the island here. You can do tours. They have ferry boats. You can just buy tickets the day of, different things like that, and you can move around very, very easily from Koh Samui. Same thing with Phuket. If you're inside that other little bay area, you've got Krabi Islands, you've got the PP Islands, up there where James Bond, that little snow, ice cream cone situation that's in the water, amazing. So you have all of those different areas there that you can go into, but that's on the east side of Phuket. So that's in the Old Town Phuket area. Okay? It's a lot of information, y'all. So, I'm an hour in. I said this was going to be 45 minutes. So, I'm about to cut this short. If you guys have any other questions for me, let me know. So, last couple of things. Best airport, all of them. Best is probably Bangkok. They all have international airports. But Bangkok is obviously going to be the biggest. That's the one you're going to fly in and out of. Bangkok Airways is their signature airline, and that airline owns actually the airport here in Koh Samui. So you can catch a flight to and from Bangkok like 6, 7, 8 times a day here, and it's like a 45-minute flight. Y'all, let me tell you, they actually give you food, like a full meal, on a 45-minute flight. I don't even know how they do it. I don't know how they do it because I'm like, it takes 25 minutes to get up to. It don't take 25 minutes, but to get to a certain level, they literally serve your food. You eat like a full meal, and this is like less than an hour flight. It's crazy. So don't want people be saying, "Oh, we can't do that because the flight's so short." That's a lie. That's a lie because they do it on Bangkok Air. All right, because I've had it over 2 meals, just in case I'm hungry. There was one other thing. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm gonna cut short on that, and I'm gonna tell you knowing all that I know about just those 5 places. There's a couple other places that I would visit. Hua Hin. I don't know, guys. I can't say this. Huahin. It's another little small area that some people go to. I don't think it's a place that I would live. I think it's kind of a place to kind of get away to. I would probably come back to this island. There's another island north of here, Phangan. I'm probably saying that wrong. Island. I would check out Rayong area, which is south of Jomtien, which is south of Pattaya. I would check that area out, and that's like really close to the border of Cambodia. So it's kind of easy to pass back and forth in those areas as well. But if I had to pick a place that um, if I were going to pick a place, first of all, Thailand, yes, is very high on my list of base places to move. Still, one of the other things I didn't mention earlier about the visas is one of the reasons why I do like Thailand is even though their initial visa is not great, like I would like just to give me 90 days. To compare it to Vietnam, which is moving towards and back to their 90-day visa. On entry for like $25 or $50. Fantastic. I wish Thailand would do the same thing. I wish I didn't have to go in physically to extend my visa, but the process is pretty easy, so I'll share that with you. Thailand also offers, I'm talking about a heap of residency options, one being retirement. Their retirement visa starts at the age of 50, so y'all already know I'm in there like swimwear, and everybody I've talked to basically said I can apply for it on my own. I don't need assistance. I just have to make sure that you have these things listed out. So I am considering that option. Caveat is you're supposed to not work with your retirement visa, so you have to figure out where your income source. So having passive income is probably the best way to do that, or retirement funds. But it's just one of those options, and there's other ways you can get business visas. You can start a business and actually apply for a business visa and get those extensions and things like that. So there's a lot more offering here than Vietnam. Vietnam pretty much only offers like family or like marriage, things like that, residency types. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of plan like 5 years or something like that, or even a whole year. You just know that you got to kind of every so many months come in and out of the country. So Thailand is still very high on my Southeast Asia list because even though it is more expensive here, it's more expensive than Vietnam. There is just a different level of access and modernization that I like. I love the cleanliness here. Oh, the one thing I didn't talk about was dating. Let me just say this really quick. Best city for dating here. And I know some people will be like, nah, this place is this. For me, the best place that I have found for dating is Phuket. And it's because it encompasses what I need to have, you know, kind of the life that I want to live, being in a city with the water, with, you gotta have water, not running water, ocean, and the nature and all of that. So it's a little bit of everything. So I, in turn, live the life that I want to live. I do the things that I love doing. So therefore, you end up meeting people that are more in line with. For me, I meet more people that are more in line with what I like to do naturally. Can you go anywhere? Can you go anywhere and date and find people? Absolutely. You sure can. But for me, it's more of, which people are more in tune with the lifestyle that I like, and it's more of a natural type lifestyle. So Phuket is probably the place that I more connect to from that perspective. Silver tone, gay. I don't know. My nails are gay. I don't know what that means. Or if I need to delete you or not. Let me know, because I know how to delete and block. So, yes, I would live in Thailand. And the city I'd probably move to would be Phuket or Jomtien. Not necessarily North Pattaya, but the southern part in the Jomtien area is decent enough, especially if we're talking about cost of living, access to everything, walkability, being able to move around. If it's a difference between, $1,200 a month for rent and $600, and I can then move around and go and visit all the other places, I'd probably stay in the place at $600 as long as they have everything else that I want and need. And the nice thing about it is you just move around. Once you get to a place, if a city doesn't fit, visit other cities. That's why I'm on number 5, y'all. So yes, Thailand is still high on the list. I hope this was somewhat helpful and just sharing like the different things that each one of these cities has to offer. If there's other questions, I know there's other areas I didn't really cover that I know a lot of people ask about as solo women, as being a black woman, or just in the black community, or is there a community for us out here? And I will say quick response is definitely in Bangkok, and there is a nice cluster, a handful cluster in Phuket, and Pattaya I think is growing, both men and women. I know a lot of people say people go to Pattaya for one thing, but I was there and I don't do that one thing, and I did enjoy the time that I was there. It was more serene. I wasn't there very long, but I wasn't there for 3 months like I was in Phuket, but I was there long enough to, experience the city. So, y'all, hopefully that is helpful. That's my experience. I'm going to be leaving here in a couple of days, and you guys will get to see where I'm off to next. I'm kind of heading to a pass-through place. for a couple of weeks, and that is going to be my test run to see if that's a country that I want to visit longer term, because I won't tell you the country I'm going to yet until I get there. I like to make sure I actually get and land in a place. But that particular country offers U.S. citizens a 12-month visa, and we don't have to apply for anything. So I'll let you guys know how it is. All right. So I'm gonna get out of here because I'm over. I am like 35, 40 minutes over my plan. So thank you guys for tuning in, checking out my video, following me. Thanks, Steve, for all the questions. Let me know if you have other questions about the hurricanes and the monsoons, and I'll share which, how I look up things. Actually, there's a couple apps that seamen, people who have boats, use to tell when the tide comes in and out, and that's important to know because that also tells you about the storms and weather patterns and stuff like that. And so I learned about that when I was here last year. So yeah, I can share more information with you guys. Just hit me up, send me a message here on this video. If you are watching, please leave a comment. Let me know where you are watching from, and if you'd like to see something similar for my time that I spent in Vietnam. And I'm gonna probably backtrack to some other places that I spent a lot of good time in and never really recapped those cities for you guys. So all right, y'all, I am out of here. Y'all know the drill. Thanks for sharing a little bit of moments with me. Until next time, y'all know the drill. Toodles and noodles, peace and hair grease.